Alrighty, folks, we improved to 7-0 with a push in our last 8 NHL tier package plays yesterday. We had the Canucks plus $1, and they actually shut out the Bruins in that victory. Of course, you know I got to give a big shout out to all of you Gold Club members out there because you guys cashed in on 6 different premium selections yesterday. We had the Spurs, Bucks, Rockets, Bulls, Canucks once again in the NHL. We also hit on a 2-leg hockey parlay. And the only way you could have accessed all those winners is to join my full access, all-inclusive Gold Club. You know, Gold Club members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my NBA free pick video here today for Wednesday, November 27th, 2024. Happy Wednesday to you. Typically, I'd say happy hump day to you, and I guess technically it is hump day, but with tomorrow being Thanksgiving, this week's all kind of jumbled up. So it doesn't really feel like a Wednesday. It kind of feels like a Friday, and I know for most of you folks out there, or maybe a good amount of you, you might be putting in a good session tonight. There's certainly plenty of sports and certainly plenty of basketball. I believe the official term for the day before Thanksgiving is called Drinksgiving. But guys, listen, Drinksgiving is complete amateur hour. So maybe just go to your local gaming establishment and get a room and just stay there. Don't go on the roads tonight. There's no need to be driving out there with all those lunatics. But anyway, folks, if you're joining me for the first time here today, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. And once again, folks, we are 7-0 with a push in our last 8 NHL tier package plays on my premium site. Of course, the good news is I've got another NHL tier package pick going off here for you this evening. Of course, that membership is included with your purchase of the Gold Club membership or the Chairman membership. Certainly red hot right now. I know you guys hate the NHL, but you do like money, and we're getting the job done in that package. But with that, folks, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Rockets at the Sixers, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Houston's the 5-point favorite, totals 219. We did see a half a point move toward Houston in this one. They opened 4.5 up to 5. The Rockets are 13-6 on the season, 13-6 against the point spread. Meanwhile, Philly just 3-13 straight up, 4-12 against the number. When it comes to defensive play, well, the Sixers are currently dead last in defensive field goal percentage. They're letting their opponents make nearly 50% of their field goals against them. Meanwhile, on the offensive side of things, even worse. They're dead last in field goals made, second to last in scoring, and they're facing a tough defensive team in Houston. The Rockets allow just 105 points a game. Their opponents are shooting just 42% from the field against them. And I'll tell you what, that defensive effort is led by Alpi Sengun, who actually leads the roster in blocks and rebounds. Tari Eason has the most steals. Of course, injury-wise, Steven Adams is day-to-day with a knee injury. Keep an eye on him. Meanwhile, for Philly on the other side, Embiid and George are still out. Martin's questionable. When it comes to the total, 7 out of the Sixers' last 10 ball games did fall under the number. Meanwhile, Houston went 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Rockets -5, under 219. Next ball game, Blazers, Pacers, 7 o'clock East. Indy's -11, totals 232.5. We saw a half a point move toward the Pacers in this one, open 10.5. Indy 8-10 straight up, 7-11 against the point spread. Portland 7-11 straight up, but 11-7 against the number. And of course, more recently, the Blazers covered in 5 out of their last 7. Played some pretty good defense during that time frame. Portland allowed just 108 points a game during that stretch. They're also blocking more shots a game than any other team except for one. Don Klingon leads the roster in blocks. Toumani Camara with the most steals. They're facing a Pacer team who struggles a bit on the defensive end of the court themselves. These guys are 25th in the league in points allowed. They're also just putting way too many shooters to the foul line. They're in the bottom 5 in free throws allowed per game. Now, injury-wise, Shepard and Neesmith are out. Furphy and Nembhard are questionable. Meanwhile, for the Blazers, Grant, Murray, Henderson, Thibault, and Ayton are questionable. Williams is out. Now, total-wise, the Blazers did see overs recently against the likes of Minnesota and San Antonio. Meanwhile, 6 out of the Pacers' last 10 got over the total themselves. Give me the Blazers plus 11 over 232.5. Next game, Bulls, Magic, 7 o'clock East. Orlando's 10.5 at home, totals 224. Now, the Magic did see overs recently against the likes of Detroit and the Lakers. And even though they really haven't been, absolutely lighting up the scoreboard, they are still 8th in the league in free throws made per game. Meanwhile, the Bulls on the other side, well, they're one of the better three-point shooting teams in the league. They're 2nd in the NBA in three-pointers made per game. They're actually drilling nearly 17 three balls a night. They also saw 5 out of their last 8 get over the total. Now, injury-wise, Sanogo, Williams, and Ball are questionable for the Bulls. Harris and Banchero are still out for the Magic. Give me the over 224. Next contest, Heat, Hornets, 7 o'clock East. Miami's minus 3.5, totals 218. Miami won 4 out of their last 7 ball games. Nice job on the defensive end of the court. They're currently 8th in points allowed, 3rd in steals. Bam Adebayo leads the team in steals, blocks, and boards. And they're facing a Charlotte squad who dropped 4 out of their last 5 themselves. They've been terrible on the offensive end of the court. The Hornets are currently in the bottom 3 in shooting from the field, dead last in free throws made. Now, injury-wise, Mann, Bridges, Jeffries, Williams, and Richards are out for Charlotte. Give me Miami minus 3.5. Next game, Clippers, Wizards, 7 o'clock East. The Clippers are the 10-point favorite, totals 222.5. LA's 11-8 on the season, 60% against the point spread. Meanwhile, Washington just 2-14 straight up, 4-12 against the number. This Washington team allows over 123 points a game on defense. They're actually dead last in rebounds. And they're facing a Clipper team who won 5 out of their last 6 games. They're in the top 10 in offensive boards themselves. Ivica Zubac averages nearly 13 rebounds a game, 60% shooting from the field. James Harden's averaging 20.5 points a game himself. Now, injury-wise, Brown, Bamba, and Powell are questionable. Leonard and Tucker are out. Meanwhile, for Washington, Poole and Vukovic are questionable. Bay's inactive. The Wizards saw overs recently against the likes of New York, Atlanta, and San Antonio. Meanwhile, the Clippers saw overs in their last 2 straight themselves. Give me LA minus 10 over 222.5. Next contest, Hawks, Cavaliers, 7 o'clock East. Cleveland's minus 9.5, totals 240. Cleveland 17-1 on the year, 14-4 against the point spread. Meanwhile, Atlanta just 7-11 straight up, 6-12 against the number. Of course, more recently, the Hawks dropped 6 out of their last 9. Bottom 3 in the league in points allowed. When it comes to guarding the 3 ball, well, the Hawks are letting their opponents make 40% of their 3-pointers against them. They're facing a Cleveland squad who scores more points a game than any other team. They also have the highest team 3-point percentage in the NBA as well. Donovan Mitchell drills nearly 42% of his attempts from downtown. He's the club leader in scoring. Darius Garland drills 43% of his 3-pointers. Ty Jerome's at 54% from 3-land as well. Now, injury-wise, LeVert, Wade, Strus, and Bates are still out for the Cavs. Zeller is inactive for Atlanta. Trae Young is day-to-day. Give me Cleveland minus 9.5. All right, next game. Knicks, Mavericks, 7:30 p.m. East. New York's minus 4, totals 235. We did see a 0.5 point fade of the Knicks in this one. They opened 4.5. New York 10-7 straight up, 8-9 against the point spread. Dallas 10-8 straight up, 10-8 against the number. Dallas saw unders recently against the likes of the Pelicans, Spurs, and Jazz. course, a lot of those unders are due to their defensive effort. The Mavs are 7th in defensive field goal percentage, 6th in three-pointers allowed. Now, the Knicks saw unders recently against the likes of the Jazz, Nets, and Sixers themselves. When it comes to defensive play, this is currently the best defensive rebounding team in the game. Now, injury-wise, Achua and Robinson are still out for the Knicks. Lively, Thompson, and Grimes are questionable for Dallas. Doncic and Exum still inactive. I like the under 235. Next contest, Raptors, Pelicans, 8 o'clock East. The Pels are -2.5, totals 222. And I'll tell you, plenty of unders for the Pelicans here recently. They went 7-2 to the under in their last 9. And no real surprise here, folks. The Pels are currently the lowest point-producing team in the league. But I tell you what, if you think that's bad, just keep in mind that the Raptors have been little threat shooting the deep ball themselves. They're dead last in three-pointers made per game. They're actually averaging under 11 made three balls a night. Of course, they saw unders in their last 3 straight, 8-2 to the under in their last 10. Now, injury-wise, quickly, Olynyk, Brown, and Grady Dick are out for the Raptors. Meanwhile, for the Pelicans, Hawkins, Ingram, Murphy, and Murray are questionable. Jones, Alvarado, and Williamson still out. Give me the under 222. Next game, Pistons, Grizzlies, 8 o'clock East. Memphis is -8, total 226. Grizzlies 11-7 on the year, 12-6 against the point spread. Detroit 8-11 straight up, 9-11. Oh, that ain't right. 8-11 straight up. I believe that's 9-10 against the number. They got a losing record against the number. I fudged up my notes here, but more recently, I know this: the Pistons failed to cover in their last 4 straight. They're in the bottom 10 in scoring, and they're facing a tough Memphis team who's going to contest all your shots. They're 4th in defensive field goal percentage, 1st in the league in blocks. Jaren Jackson leads the roster in blocks and steals. Aldama leads the team in rebounds. Now, as an organization here, the Grizzlies are currently on a 3-game win streak. They went 7-3 straight up in their last 10. Now, injury-wise, Morant, Edey, Williams, and Jackson are inactive for Memphis. Meanwhile, Harris and Cunningham are questionable for the Pistons. Detroit went 4-2 to the under in their last 6, 12-7 to the under for the entire season. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies on the other side, they saw unders recently against the likes of Portland and Denver. Give me Memphis -8, under 226. Next contest, Kings, T-Wolves, 8 o'clock East. Minnesota's -3.5, totals 219. Minnesota 8-9 straight up, 6-11 against the point spread. Sacramento 8-10 straight up, 6-12 against the number. 2 teams struggling against the number here this season. 4 out of the Kings' last 7 games did get over the total. They're making nearly 49% of their field goals as a team. Minnesota, on the other side, they've averaged over 15 made three-pointers a game themselves. They're 7th in the league in that category. And Minnesota also went 60% to the over in their last 10. Now, injury-wise, Ingles and Conley are questionable for Minnesota. Crawford and Jones are questionable for the Kings. DeRozan, Lyles, and Carter are out. Give me the over 219. Next contest, Lakers, Spurs, 8:30 p.m. East. The Lakers are -3, totals 228. LA is 10-7 straight up, 7-10 against the point spread. San Antonio 10-8 straight up, 10-8 against the number. The Spurs covered in their last 4 straight. Of course, all 4 of those games were outright wins. And during that time frame, the Spurs averaged 117 points a game. Victor Wembanyama leads the roster in points, rebounds, steals, and blocks. Of course, Harrison Barnes knocks down 43% of his deep balls. And they're facing a Laker club who lost their last 3 straight, just 1-6 against the point spread in their last 7. And when it comes to defensive play, well, their opponents are making nearly 50% of their field goals against them. They're in the bottom 10 in points allowed. Now, injury-wise, Bronny and Hayes are questionable. Vandy and Wood are out. Meanwhile, for the Spurs, Vassal's day-to-day. Sochan's out for them. Give me the Spurs +3. Next game, Nets, Suns, 9 o'clock East. Phoenix is minus 9.5, totals 219 and a hook. The Spurs are 10-7, but just 6-11 against the point spread. Meanwhile, Brooklyn 8-10 on the year, but 13-5 against the point spread, one of the better covering teams in the association. And of course, more recently, the Nets covered in 7 out of their last 10. They're 5th in three-pointers made. Dennis Schroeder drills 41% of his deep balls, 18 points a night. And they're facing a Phoenix club who dropped 5 out of their last 6 themselves. They're in the bottom 5 in guarding the 3-ball. Now, injury-wise, Colin Gillespie's out for the Suns. Thomas, Clowney, Sharp, and Bogey are out for Brooklyn. The Nets also have Simmons, Claxton, Johnson, and Finney-Smith officially listed as day-to-day. 5 out of the Nets' last 8 did get over the number. Meanwhile, Phoenix went 60% to the over in their last 10. Give me Brooklyn plus 9.5, over 219 and a hook. Next matchup, Nuggets Jazz, 9 o'clock East. Denver's the 9-point favorite away from home, totals 231. Denver 9-7 straight up. Utah 4-13. The Jazz dropped 5 out of their last 6, and they're allowing nearly 120 points a game. They're also in the bottom 5 in steals, second to last in takeaways. They're facing a Denver club who definitely has a knack for getting to the foul line. They definitely get a lot of generous calls. They're averaging more free throw attempts than any other team except for one. Of course, because of that, they're 6th in the league in points per game. Nikola Jokic is averaging just about 30 points a night, league leader in rebounds. Michael Porter Jr. scores over 18.5 points a game, 40% shooting from three-land. Now, Watson's questionable for Denver. Concher and Gordon are out. Meanwhile, for Utah, Clarkson, Filipowski, and Markkanen are questionable for them. 5 out of the Jazz last 8 games did get over the total. Meanwhile, Denver went 8-2 to the over in their last 10. Give me the Nuggets minus 9, over 231. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. Thunder Warriors, 10 o'clock East. OKC's minus 3, totals 229. Golden State, 12-5 straight up, 10-7 against the point spread. OKC, 13-4 straight up, 10-7 against the number as well. And both teams take a great deal of pride in their defensive effort. OKC allows just 103 points a night. They're first in field goals allowed. Meanwhile, the Warriors on the other side, they're holding their competition to just 109 points a game themselves, just 31% shooting from three-land. Now, injury-wise, Kuminga and Curry are questionable for Golden State. Deng, Caruso, Holmgren, and Williams are out for OKC. Of course, when it comes to the total, both teams went 4-2 to the under in their last 6, respectively. OKC seeing unders during that stretch against the likes of Portland, San Antonio, and Phoenix. Meanwhile, Golden State during that stretch saw unders against San Antonio, the Pelicans, and the Hawks. I like the under 229. And with that, folks, now it is time for our quick pick recap. I like Houston minus 5, under 219. Portland plus 11, over 232.5. I'm 7-0 with a push on my last 8 NHL tier package plays on my premium site. Give me the over 224 in the Bulls Magic game. I like Miami minus 3.5 against Charlotte. Clippers minus 10, over 222.5. Cleveland minus 9.5, getting the job done against Atlanta. I like the under 235 in that Knicks Mavericks game. Give me the under 222 in the Raptors Pelicans game. Memphis minus 8, under 226. I like the over 219 in the Kings Timberwolves game. Spurs plus 3, getting the job done against the Lakers. Nets plus 9.5, over 219 and a hook. Nuggets minus 9, over 231. And give me the under 229 in the Thunder Warriors game. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. Just a friendly reminder, if you do end up signing up for a membership on my premium site, you're going to get access to that membership each and every day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. They're going to be included with your membership. That's why I always tell folks that Gold Club package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. But most importantly, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, folks, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. I guess technically it's hump day. And I look forward to seeing, and you know what? Happy Thanksgiving to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.